Okay, my mic was muted the entire time. Hello. I realized like while I was sitting here, I was like, okay, my Minecraft skin's gonna make this a little awkward. I kind of wish that I had a face cam because it's like, hey, this is a serious stream. Here's my dumb Minecraft skin. Um, anyway, this is gonna be a serious stream. But I do like keeping things a little bit lighthearted because I don't like making people too anxious or anything. So usually I've done like Detective Dream or things like that. But I thought that probably wasn't appropriate this time, and it's just better to just be Minecraft. I do have like a paint.net thing open that has some screenshots, but other than that, I'll just be Minecraft. Anyway, hello. Um so obviously a lot has happened over the last like week, I'd say, in terms of the I guess controversy world with me and other creators and just everything in general, I guess. And I thought it'd be good to do a stream and to talk about it because I thought, if I'm just tweeting, it doesn't, I can't, it's not long form enough for me to express my feelings, my opinions, and um, just talk things through. And I thought if I did it like in a podcast, it'd probably be inauthentic. And if I did it elsewhere, I just thought it'd be dumb. But I thought, hey, stream's probably perfect. I've done it a couple times, very rarely because I like keeping things lighthearted on my channels. But hey, sometimes it's the best thing to do. Let me switch to Paint. We'll talk about how it started, and then after we talk about how it started, then we can get more into the rest of it. And there's a lot we're going to be going over, so just sit tight, and if there's something you're waiting for, just wait. Here we go. Okay, so how this all started was Hassan made a tweet, said, come on, at YouTube, this is a wild one to demonetize. It was titled, Dear Conservatives, Gay People Exist. I saw it, I thought, okay, that's kind of like a ridiculous thing to be demonetized. So I replied and said, I mean, it is controversial. Do they really exist? I heard gay people was a myth made up by the gay frogs in my water. Solid move by YouTube, in my opinion. This is sarcasm. I'm sure most people have recognized that, but this is sarcastic. I'm not being serious in saying that gay people don't exist and that frogs in my water have created gay people. Obviously, I'm not being serious, and I don't think people this tweet didn't really get much flack. I mean, it did. There were some people. I mean, I'm sure it did. There were some people saying like, "Oh, you know, you can't make these jokes, whatever." But I don't think this tweet really got much flack. It was my reply to Ant Frost. Anyway, so Ant Frost replied and said, "Gay people don't exist." I heard. For those of you who don't know, Ant Frost is gay, and obviously Ant Frost, he's been in my Manhunt videos. He's one of my best friends. Known him for a long time. And then I replied, "They exist in your disgusting fantasies, you freak." Now this is where people did not like it. I do think that people who don't know me or know Ant Frost or know our relationship or know anything about me in general could see this me calling him a freak for being gay, even if it's in a sarcastic way, um, and take it the wrong way and take it as, oh, he's making fun of gay people or the the struggles they go through. So I see that, and I after seeing people complain about that, initially I was like, yeah, I mean, I probably could have just removed this part and just had to be they exist in your disgusting fantasies, and I think that would have been different. Do I think it's the biggest deal? No, but I can understand why people might. I could see people being upset by it and being like, "Oh, this isn't something that you have a right to joke about." I get that. I mean, it's not. It's up to. I feel like it's very opinionated whether or not you think that people like because this is I'm making fun of people that are homophobic essentially. Obviously, I'm not making fun of gay people when I say they exist in your disgusting fantasies. You freak. I'm playing a homophobic person saying something ludicrous that obviously people wouldn't say. And so, anyway, the joke is not on gay people. The joke is on homophobic people that are horrible people and don't deserve any kind of positive attention, I guess. Anyway, people didn't like that. That got me into obviously you can see based on the quote retweets. That got me into a lot of flack. There was a lot of people that were replying and calling me homophobic and were saying I'm how did my audience let me get away with being homophobic and so on and so forth. And obviously, I mean, I'm sure most of you know, but I will reiterate, I am not homophobic. I support gay people. I support everybody from the LGBTQ plus community. I try and express that as much as I can, and I would never intentionally harm anybody from the LGBTQ community. So I don't mean any harm if whenever I make jokes with my friends. Obviously, this is a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, who again is gay, and people were, when I said that on another tweet, people were saying, "Oh, you're just using like I have one gay friend." It's like, no, I'm saying that I'm joking with this. I'm joking with Ant Frost. I'm not joking with whoever is reading the tweet. I'm joking. I'm replying to Ant Frost, joking with him. Obviously, Ant Frost didn't have a problem with it, but anyway, so then I made a tweet because everyone was saying it. I said, Dream is community homophobic. And I said, our community is basically a 24/7 online pride parade. You're welcome to join at any point if you'd like. Anyone is welcome. That was my way, kind of sarcastically being like, guys, come on. Are you really trying to paint me as homophobic? Like I feel like I've been very outwardly accepting of everybody. And so that was kind of my way of joking about it. Ant replied, said, "Oh, anyone saying this just seeking attention by hopping on the hate train, blah, blah." Ant's very sweet. Obviously, I love Ant. Amazing guy. Anyway, so this got me to the big controversy the day before, and this wasn't before it actually like oh yeah, and these screenshots kind of look funny because of Nightmare, but I was Dream at the time. Nightmare is just that's what my profile is now, and I took these screenshots today, so it is Nightmare, but that's not what it was. But it does make these screenshots look kind of dumb. Anyway, but so that was the big controversy starter that got a lot of people that don't like me, or even I'm sure there are some people that like me that were like, oh, I mean maybe, but I think that mostly, obviously, that this is the thing is that if you don't like, and this isn't me saying, oh, it's invalid because you don't like me. People, every time I've ever said something like that, people take it as that, when really I'm just saying that you're more likely to give somebody the benefit of the doubt if you like them. If you don't like them, you're gonna give them the opposite. If you're neutral, you're gonna be in the middle. But if you like somebody, you're gonna give them more benefit of the doubt than they deserve. And if you don't like somebody, you're gonna give them less benefit of the doubt than they deserve. And that's just kind of how the world works. So obviously, I'm not saying, oh, people that don't like me, it's the only reason they thought that. It's just, no, they're more likely to think that because they're gonna see this and assume I'm being homophobic rather than see this and assume that I'm making fun of homophobic people. If that makes sense. Anyway, but then it obviously sparked up the next day by a lot. So I tweeted out, I'm not gay. I think women are very attractive. Some men are okay too, I guess. Now for me, I thought this is something that I was debating on whether or not I should tweet, I guess. I feel like I've never outwardly talked about my sexuality or much in like on one of my public platforms. Like I've talked about it on Reddit before. I've briefly, like in a podcast, said stuff, but I've never tweeted anything on any of my major platforms about anything involving my sexuality other than just saying I'm not gay, which is what I've said always, because I'm not gay. But people also take that to mean that I'm straight. And I don't know. That's the thing, is I feel like everyone kind of, I mean, I guess not everybody. I feel awkward. I feel awkward talking about stuff involving sexuality. But I feel like sexuality is a spectrum. So obviously there's straight, there's gay, there's everything in between. And there's much more. And I'm somewhere, and I feel like I don't necessarily owe anybody an explanation of where. But I felt like this was a tweet that kind of expressed my feelings at the time in a sort of joking way, because if you're saying things seriously, it becomes more whatever. Anyway, I don't need to go too much into it, but that's what I thought by making this tweet. And then anyway, I forgot about this tweet. So this was a reply as well. I just wanted to explain this, because then whenever somebody replied to my tweet saying that when I said Dreamers community, I said our community is basically 24/7 online pride parade, and they replied and said, "And you're our leader." And I said, "Definitely not." And people took that as saying, "I'm definitely not in the LGBTQ community, and I don't want to be the leader and whatever." And that's not the case. I was just expressing that I feel like nobody is going to be a leader of a community. I feel like even unless that community is directly involved in them, like I'd say, sure, could I be like the leader of the Dream community? I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know. I feel like there's not really a leader to any community. And I think that it's unacceptable to let people assume or call you even. And this is obviously a a joke. They're not being serious. Or even if they are, that's fine. But I was just trying to express, hey, I don't like people saying, hey, he's the leader of this pride parade or the LGBT community, because I feel like that's not right. And I think that for anybody to be a leader of the LGBTQ community or a leader of any community, the leader, like I say this, I feel the same way as people say it's like the leader of the Minecraft community. I feel the exact same way. It's like, no, I'm not the leader of the Minecraft community. Please don't. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of, that's a lot of meaning behind that I don't feel comfortable taking on. Anyway, that's what I was expressing there. But anyway, so then this is when the controversy amped up. I replied to somebody who quote retweeted my tweet, saying that I was just saying it to avoid being called homophobic. Obviously, seeing that upset me because I was like, okay, this is my first tweet ever on any major account of mine involving sexuality in any way whatsoever. And I'm getting people quote retweeting me saying that I'm just doing it to avoid being called homophobic, when that was the day before, and obviously it was on my mind, and that was what I decided to tweet it because of. But people were quote retweeting and saying that I'm avoiding homophobic homophobic allegations by like queer baiting essentially. And so I replied, and they ended up deleting their tweet. But I replied and said, only Twitter can confuse mocking homophobia and clear support of gay people in the replies of one of the person's best friends who is gay as homophobia. Only Twitter. And this made a lot of people upset because this person, I don't know what ended up happening to this person. I don't know if they ended up tweeting or something. But people were saying this person got doxxed and that this person got, threatened and all this stuff in regards to their tweet. And obviously, I've said this time and time again, and I'll say it again because I feel like it's important to reiterate, but I don't support any form of doxing. I know this isn't just for people that are going to be like, oh, you can't just say this and then it absolves you of all guilt. That's not what I'm saying. Hear me out, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't support any form of doxing. I don't support any form of threatening or harassment or anything like that. I never, no matter what. It doesn't matter. I feel like I have a very strict and solid line, and it's anything. It doesn't matter. I feel like no one deserves that. Even if they've done heinous things, I feel like they don't deserve to be doxxed. They don't deserve to be, death threatened, things like that. Now they may deserve, people that have done horrible things may deserve bad things to come to them. But bad things within like the law and bad things within society and whatever, versus not, doxing and things that are it's just pointless. It's pointless no matter what. And so I don't condone that. I don't support that. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you participate in doxing of people, if you participate in harassing and threatening people, you are not welcome in my community. You are not a part of my community, and I do not like you. There, I've said it. I've said it before. There's a clip on my Twitter, my most recent retweet of a clip of me saying this exact same thing like a year ago. But I'll say it again because I feel like I can't say it too many times, so I'll just say it again. Anyway, but people obviously got pissed at this and were saying, you can't reply to people. You got to be responsible with your audience, and you got to be careful and not reply to people on Twitter. And then I ended up making a dumb tweet on my private account, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I just wanted to talk about more about that specifically. Obviously, ever since then, I feel like the message kind of has been diluted, and there's a lot of people who have been upset about the fact that Dream is defending himself from replying to people, and he's sending harassing, and he wants people to harass people. It's like, no, I feel like people don't realize like this is the tweet that people are mad about. This is like, and people that small creators and other creators that have said things, I don't even think they know this. I think they probably are a little bit out of the loop, and that this is what I replied. I didn't reply and say, you fucking bastard, blah, 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 blah. I mean, my reply wasn't even that bad. I was just defending myself and replying to somebody. I wasn't like hateful in my reply. I didn't say anything threatening. I didn't say anything at all. And it was somebody calling me homophobic on a tweet about my sexuality. Um, and I feel like in my mind, their tweet, and this is, maybe people can disagree, but their tweet, I mean, I don't even know, I don't know how to describe it, because it's obviously not homophobia. But it's some form of like, I mean, they're assuming that I'm using my sexuality for my benefit, to avoid criticism. Which I thought was very belittling. I thought it was very upsetting, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna reply. I'm gonna express my thoughts on this. Obviously, because there was people saying that. But anyway, this is the tweet. So for people that are out of the loop, this is the tweet people were upset about. This is what caused it all. This person deactivated their Twitter, and I think people were saying they were getting doxxed and they were getting threatened and whatever. So this is the tweet. I can understand being upset at me if I would have replied and said, F you, you piece of shit, you deserve whatever. I don't know. If I had replied, I mean, even if it was just even a little bit hateful or spiteful or inciting of like violence or something, I would understand. It makes sense. It makes complete sense that you could be upset at somebody with a massive platform inciting hate towards somebody. On Twitter. But this is just a normal like Twitter reply. Like you see people do this all the time, and people saying that other creators don't do this are just wrong. Go to other creators' replies and see this. Now, in terms of like the actual, like later on when I was arguing on my Twitter, yeah, other creators don't do that because I'm very different. I tweet a lot, and I tweet a lot, and I defend myself, and I argue. But this tweet, this is what started it all. And this is just Twitter. This is a normal tweet from Twitter, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't have any apologies about it. I feel like this is a very valid tweet, and I feel like I would do this again, and I will do it again. And if you don't support me doing things like this, replying to people on my platform, saying things remotely like this every now and then don't support me. That's fine. I'm fine with that, because that's who I am. That's how I'm going to be. And I don't feel like this is me inciting anything or doing anything wrong. I'm defending myself. I'm defending my ability to express my sexuality without having people use it against me and belittle me. And I feel like that's something that I'm fine with. I'm perfectly fine with that. So if you're not, that's fine. I don't owe anyone any apologies about this, and I'm not going to. Anyway, that's about this tweet. Now, my tweet that I made on my alt account, I definitely worded it poorly, and I apologize for that. My tweet essentially on my alt account, my tweet essentially on my alt account was saying, it's so satisfying seeing people that I reply to that are saying dumb stuff deactivate, because it's just them. It's like them being like, hey, I'm being dumb, whatever. And obviously that's not always why. People rightfully were saying, well, that's not always why they deactivate. They deactivate because they're getting threatened, and they deactivate because they're getting doxxed and whatever. And that's true. And that's something that I probably shouldn't have said. And I wasn't thinking about it from that aspect. I was thinking about it more from the aspect of they don't stand by their words. They say something, and then they reply to me, and then they get a reply from the person, and then they don't stand by what they said. And I wasn't thinking about it from the other perspective of, they're deactivating because of the fact that they're afraid of harassment, whatever. That doesn't change the fact that I would reply to them. But it does change the fact that it's different. What, feeling satisfaction about it is wrong in that instance, because it's not something to be satisfied about if that is the reason that they're doing it. So I do apologize about that. I shouldn't have made that tweet. Or I should have looked at the other perspective before making that tweet, and I would have definitely said things differently. I guess, again, to further talk about the whole doxing aspect, I guess I want to express as well, because I feel like this is important to talk about. And this isn't going to be me at all. Like, don't take this as me minimizing things, but I'm just going to express it because a lot of people are saying, oh, somebody with 7 followers that gets a reply and then is getting doxxed and like fearing for their life and all that stuff. I'm just going to express that if you are a person on Twitter and you have 7 followers and you get doxxed on Twitter, the odds of you having something happen to you in your life are so astronomically small that it's not even worth worrying about. It's not even worth it remotely. I mean, everybody that I know that is a creator, has had their address leaked, has had their name leaked, has had everything leaked about them. And it's very rare to have things actually happen. Even people with millions and millions of haters and millions of fans and millions of things. So I guess this is more of a, hey, don't worry too much, don't stress. But just if you're at the end of the day, if you're on the internet and you have something like that happen to you, try and ignore it the best you can. Try and avoid it, and you'll be fine. At the end of the day, you'll be okay. Again, that doesn't mean doxing okay. Doxing is horrible, and everyone that I know hates doxing, and like I said, has been doxed individually themselves. That's more of a reassurance thing, and that's for my fans and for people that have been doxed, is that, hey, you're gonna be okay. There's nothing's probably gonna happen to you, and you'll be fine. You'll be okay. So I mean, for YouTubers and stuff, it is slightly different, because obviously there actually are millions of people that hate you and would potentially go after you or whatever. But for the average person that's just a Twitter user with 5 followers, and people are saying, there's some people that are saying that's a bad take. It's not a bad take. It's a realistic take. That is how it is. That is 100% how it is online. As someone who's been on the internet for entire life. But anyway, second, pulling up, I had a little note list of the things I wanted to talk about. But yeah, anyway, so that's kind of how this all sparked. Obviously, was from me. Originally, I made this tweet to briefly go over it again. Originally, I made this tweet. People took this as homophobic, and then I defended myself and was saying not homophobic. And then the next day, I ended up making a tweet regarding my sexuality on my main, and people were saying I was using it as deflecting and to get rid of people calling me homophobic and all. And so then I replied to one of them saying that only Twitter can confuse mocking homophobia and clear Twitter gay people. And then there was a lot of people upset about this, saying that I was weaponizing my audience and that I was using my audience to attack and dox people. Anyway, that's kind of where we stand. Anyway, from then on out, the next thing that happened after that essentially was that, which is what happens in every single, well, if you get into a controversy as a creator, usually what happens is there's some clips or there's something regarding you that has been found in the past that is sitting around that ends up getting brought up. And I've seen people a lot of times use that to invalidate things that get brought up. Like even in tons of past controversies where they go, oh, the only reason this thing is being brought up is because of the fact that people are hating on them right now, or they're mad at him for this or whatever. Which is true, but it doesn't invalidate the fact that it happened. So in this instance, what I'm talking about is, and I'll talk about my private tweet about it as well, is that people were sharing an edit of a video that Bad Boy Halo had posted, an edit of a Bad Boy Halo video from 2014 or 15 or something. And in it, there was the KKK. And it had like the KKK, and it had like MLG horns going off or something, and it said like, when the whole squad is, I don't remember. I didn't watch the entire thing, but it was part of a like 3-minute MLG edit montage of a Bad Boy Halo video, and people were sharing it saying, oh, what about this? Dream, defend your racist past. And so I made a tweet, and I said, you read my exact tweet. I don't know why I don't have my alt tweets on here, but it's just because I'm not logged into my private Twitter on my computer, and so I didn't get screenshots. I guess I probably should have done, but I said, just to clarify, because people are trying to say I made a KKK edit in 2020. I made an MLG weed edit of a Bad Boy Halo video in 2014, like 8 years ago when I was 14 years old, and I'm 99% sure people are just overlaying whatever they want on the edit to make me out to be racist. My percentage has dropped a lot, but I'll go back to that. I said, either way, I was a dumb 14-year-old kid, and I don't remember half the shit that I did back then. Even though people are faking stuff, there are plenty of things that I did as a depressed, edgy teenager that I'm not proud of. I've never shied away from admitting that or being upfront about it. I'm not racist, and if you have any reason based on my actions to believe that I am, I don't deserve your support. Simple as that. I'll always do my best to breed as inclusive as a community as I can. Oh, my Minecraft is raining. Terrible timing. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Just thought I'd clarify because a lot of people were just genuinely curious / worried. I wanted to ignore it because the bad actors are using racism to push their personal opinions, but I figured it was worth it regardless because the people are curious. Anyway, so just to explain, essentially, I think what I just said is what happened. But there was a Bad Boy Halo made a cooking with Bad Boy Halo video in. Let me show my Minecraft just because I'm not showing. Bad Boy Halo made a cooking with Bad Boy Halo video back in, I think it was like 2012 or something actually, where he made like chicken soup or something. And obviously the same thing now is the same thing that was back then, is that Bad is very like PC, and he doesn't curse, and he's very, very like family friendly and all of that. And obviously as a 14-year-old kid, I thought it'd be funny to, or 15 or whatever. I don't know exactly when I made it, but I know that it was uploaded unlisted to my my channel in 2015. But I know that I'm pretty sure I made it before then because the video was an older video. But anyway, basically, so I thought it'd be funny to make an edit of the Bad Boy Halo chicken soup video and put inappropriate stuff. It's like it started off with like when you would say, "I'm gonna put the chicken in the pot," it'd say, "I'm gonna put the weed." And it'd have like a little overlaid dumb voice say weed over it, and then it'd have like a little picture of weed over the chicken. That's just how ridiculous it was. And then it had different things throughout it. And I mentioned this video. It had already been like long deleted, but I mentioned this video during like a stream with Quackity and Bad, I think, or George or something, back like a year ago. And was laughing about it and was saying, yeah, it's so dumb. I was talking about the whole weed thing. That's all I remembered about it. Obviously, I was 15. I've made tons and tons of edits over my life. I mean, I've probably edited tens of thousands of videos at this point, so I don't remember everything that I edit. I don't remember everything that I do. And people saying that I made the edit that has the KKK in it are wrong. I didn't make it. I just Googled MLG edit, and if you right now go and Google like MLG compilation, you can see that almost all of them are from like 2014, 2015, because that was when that was actually a thing on YouTube, was to make MLG edits and have the dumb air horns and have these like crazy people screaming in the background and whatever. But anyway, the point is that if I did put it in the video, which again, I said in my tweet I was 99% sure. Now after seeing some stuff that people showed, I'm not as confident. I don't remember it. Obviously this is from a long time ago, and it's a short part of one of the millions of videos that I've been a part of and made. And it was when I was a kid. So I don't remember 100%. But I will go forward with this assuming that it was in there, because I wouldn't be absolutely shocked. I did a lot of stupid stuff when I was a kid. I've talked about a lot of them before. I've apologized for a lot of them before, and I'm sure that I'll probably continue apologizing for things as I go into further into my career, because that's just what happens. I did dumb stuff when I was a kid. I wasn't a smart kid. I was very insensitive. I thought being edgy was funny, as did a lot of people on the internet back then. And there wasn't as big of a international community on the internet back then. There wasn't as much accountability on the internet back then. And so obviously when you're young and stupid and you do dumb things, you don't necessarily realize the implications of the things that you say and the things that you do. And so me looking up some MLG montage and throwing in an edit of mine to make Bad Boy Halo out to look bad in a joking way, because he's so Muffin Boy Halo, whatever, and even was back then. To me at the time seemed inconsequential, and I didn't, I wasn't thinking about anything at all. And obviously I had no racist intentions or anything back then. I'm sure I was just being an idiot and just Googling clips and trying to throw them into the video. But I can understand people being upset about that, and seeing that and going, oh, that means this is horrible that someone would do that, because it is. It's horrible. I mean, obviously the KKK or racism in general is not something to joke about. It's not something that's funny. It wasn't funny then. It's not funny now. But it doesn't change the fact that I was a dumb kid and I wasn't doing it with malicious intent. And I would never do anything like that now. And so, assuming that that was actually in the video, which I will go forward assuming that it was, I am sorry, and that's something that I shouldn't have done. And that obviously, as a 15-year-old underdeveloped brain, I did a lot of dumb things. So I'm sure this isn't the last time you'll hear me say sorry about something that I did when I was a kid. I'm sure it's not the last time you'll hear other people that you look up to say sorry for things they did as they were a kid. And I'm sure also it's something that in the future you'll regret a lot of the things that you do now as well if you're young. So that's all I have to say about that. But that was the next part of the drama, I guess. Was that whole thing, and then obviously that sparked people replying to me and saying the same stuff about how I'm a racist and homophobic and I don't deserve a platform and all of that. And this happens. I mean, it's kind of a recurring thing. It does happen. It happens every, I don't know, 4 to 6 months where I do something that people don't like, and then things that have you kind of been floating in the background get brought up. Sometimes they're real, sometimes they're fake, sometimes they're in between, and then it ends up going from like a small controversy to a big controversy because there's like multiple controversies mixed into one. Happens with a lot of creators as well. It's just kind of a common trend, and it's kind of an unfortunate one, but it is what it is, and you just gotta deal with it and move on. Again, I feel kind of dumb doing this in Minecraft with my Minecraft skin because it just makes me feel dumb. I wish I was doing a face cam soon maybe. But anyway, yeah, I guess just talking about things in general, because I think that it's because we're kind of on the topic of serious things. It's good to just kind of air things out. I don't think I've talked about the whole cheating situation since it happened on like a video or a stream or anything. So I think I'll take this as an opportunity to do that. Obviously at this point, the live streams from 1.16, the runs from back then were over a year and a half ago. I have not done a speed run since then. And that's more than half of my career. I mean, it's been 3 years. I mean, not even 3 years since I started YouTube, 3 years and 2 months, or no, 3 months. And so that's kind of a big milestone, I guess. But obviously I made a pastebin about it, about, what all had happened and everything. So if you want to read that, I'm sure that it's around and there's been videos on it and stuff. And whether or not you want to believe that I cheated intentionally, I cheated unintentionally, I'm a cold-hearted liar, whatever. Believe what you want. I don't care. I understand being skeptical. I understand people thinking one way or the other. I don't mind. I've never minded it. Especially since I found out what had happened. I didn't mind. I made a mistake in how I responded to it. I was a dick to a lot of people that I shouldn't have been. And that kind of definitely cost me a lot of credibility points, and that's fine. That's how life is. I've done my best to move on past it, and make do with the speedrunning community, in terms of, trying to make things up to them, and involve myself with them in times when I can. And I've also stepped away from doing speedruns, even though it was something that I really enjoyed. And so at this point, it's been a year and a half, and I've done my best to move on. And there's not much that I can say on that from now. The only speedrunning that I've done is speedrunning with my friends, and not submitting to a official leaderboard or anything. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't hold the same weight or anything. And yeah, so I just thought I haven't said anything on a live stream about that in a while, so that hey, this is a good time to talk about that. And just address my thoughts and feelings on it. So obviously I have no hard feelings towards anybody who made videos on me in the past about it, or accused me of cheating in the past, or said harsh things back then whenever it was happening, because a lot of the stuff that was said was deserved, because of the way that I was handling it immaturely and everything. And so I just thought that I'd express that to any of the creators out there that said anything negative at the time about it, that I understand, and that it wasn't. I don't hold any ill will towards you, or the people who have expressed things like that online towards me as well. Just people who don't like me, or people who do like me, or fans, or people, whatever, anyone online as well. That's not a creator that has expressed distaste towards me for that. Like, I get it, I understand. I don't hold ill will, and I don't think that people who have done that are bad people or are idiots or are, whatever. Even if I may have said things like that whenever it was first happening, back in like a year and a half ago. Um, Obviously, I was very heated and emotional, and it was a very emotional time for me. So I said a lot of things that I don't mean, and having time to grow and reflect on it obviously changes your perspective a lot. So that's what I have to say about the whole cheating situation back then. And I guess just in general, obviously, I think that a part of being a large creator and having a lot of eyes on you is having a lot of people that don't like you. And I've learned to accept that. It was something that was hard to accept at first, even before the whole cheating situation. But it's something that I've kind of come to terms with and recognized. That doesn't mean that you can't do things to minimize it, and that if you're more of an asshole, you'll probably have more haters. If you do more bad things, you'll probably have more people that don't like you, and whatever. I'm not saying that. Obviously, that is true. But I'm saying that it's something that I've come to accept, is that there's nothing I can really do about that. People are, I'm just, other than just be me, genuinely me. If you like me for who I am, then you like me, and you'll be a fan of mine. And if you don't, then you won't, and I'm fine with that. And there's gonna be people that really don't like me, and that are gonna go over the top on the other end, and that are gonna be hateful and whatever. And I think that's something that I've learned over time as well, is that criticism, it comes with hate, and that's something that I expressed to my alt as well. Like no matter who you're criticizing, how you do it, if your reply has traction at all, it'll come with hate. Whether you have 1 follower or 100 followers or 1 million followers, and that's just how life works. It doesn't mean that if you're criticizing somebody that you're being hateful. It just means that no matter what, if somebody's getting criticism, they're going to be also getting hate for the same thing they're getting criticism for. That doesn't make them immune from criticism. It means that they still deserve the criticism, and the hate is just an unfortunate part of life that comes with it. That's come to me. That's come to people, and lots of other creators and lots of other people on Twitter and stuff as well. And that's just how it is, and it's unfortunate. And I wish that obviously people weren't hateful towards me. I wish people weren't hateful towards people that don't like me. I wish that people weren't hateful in general. Obviously, the more love that we have in the world, the better. And I try and do my best to spread love to as many people as I can, and spread happiness, and try and make as many people happy as I can. And that's kind of my goal has always been. And I said this before, but and people that don't like me, or that don't like the community or whatever, are going to be upset about this. But the thing that I am most proud of in terms of my content creation and everything is the community. And the community that we've bred is very, very inclusive, and 99% of the time is amazing, and is very heartfelt and very respectful and very nice. But 1% of the time they suck, and that's just how it is. When you have such a massive community, there's going to be times when they overreact. Just like there's been times when I've overreacted. There's gonna be times when they're little babies, just like there's been times when I'm little babies. There's gonna be times when they're fucking assholes, just like there's times when I'm an asshole. And there's gonna be times when they really mess up, just like I've really messed up before, plenty of times. And the community collectively doesn't function any differently than each individual creator and their mistakes and the way that they are. And when it's on such a massive scale, obviously, like, me making a massive mistake is different than a massive community making a massive mistake. And so, because we're one of the biggest communities out there, we're going to be in the spotlight, and there's going to be times when they do things that are really bad, because it ends up getting a shit ton of traction because there's so many of us. And there's nothing we can really do to avoid that. But I can always do my best to express that I don't support things whenever and tell my community when they do mess up, and I do my best to hold my community accountable when they do things that they shouldn't. But sometimes there's things that are just so obvious that just talking about it just gives it more traction. Like if I was to say, hey guys, don't kill people, obviously that'd be pointless for me to say. But if I was to say, hey guys, I don't support doxing, I don't support spreading hate, I don't support replying, I'm sure it has some impact. Do I think it has a massive impact? Probably not, because if you're doing those things, then you're you're probably not a good person in general, and you're not going to listen to logic or to, me expressing how I feel. Um, but it has enough of an impact that it's worth saying every now and then to make sure people know and make sure that people hear it, and that are doing those things know that I don't support them. Um, but I will say as well is that I don't like the narrative that's kind of been starting recently. That's like, oh, the Dream community or Stan community are all doxers. You can't have it both ways in saying that Dream fans are a bunch of 13-year-old girls, and then also saying that all Dream fans are doxers. Like, I don't know where those 13-year-old girls got their doxing enterprise, but I think that there are a small percentage of people that do horrible things like doxing, and there is those people should be held accountable and shouldn't do those horrible things. And anytime that I see that, I'll do my best to, however I think necessary, if necessary, stop it. But 9 out of 10 times, me saying something would just make it worse. So I just try and blanketly state, I'll say it again and again and again, doxing is horrible. Don't do it. Don't send hate. Please don't use my profile picture and reply to people being hateful. I don't care who they are. If you see me interacting with people, if you see me, being on people's streams, they're probably my friend. And even if you want to think that behind the scenes they're not, or you want to think that behind the scenes that I secretly agree with you or don't like them or whatever, I don't. You're wrong. All the people that I interact with and I make videos with and I make streams with, I love. They're awesome people, and I talk to them in private. If I have a problem with something they do, I'll talk to them in private about it. Just like you would go to your friend and talk to them in private if you didn't like something they did, and you wouldn't go and anonymously post on your Facebook wall or something. And if you would, then you're probably immature. And so if I don't like something that one of my friends does, I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to tell them I don't like that. Hey, you shouldn't have done that. And I've done that tons of times. I've had tons of times where we've clarified things, and I've said, hey, you probably shouldn't have done that. Hey, that's a bad thing to do. And whatever. But if I'm consistently making content with somebody, if I'm consistently showing up in someone's stream, they're my friend. I like them. I don't care if you like them, because I like them. And that's all that matters to me, is I've made my content, making content with my friends, and that's what makes it enjoyable. And for me, the number one thing to keep my content good and enjoyable for you is for me to be happy. And what makes me happy is being around my friends and being around the people that I love and that I love spending time with. And that will never change for me. And I will always be doing that. I'll always be the best person that I can be, while also keeping myself happy. If you don't like people that I consistently do stuff with, I'm not saying, hey, you can't do that. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion of people, and there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to convince you. I could write a 10-page essay about why I think that X person is an amazing person, and you wouldn't care, because you have probably a 10,000-page essay on why you don't like them and why you think that they're not a good person or whatever. And that's fine. And people have the same thing about me in regards to their creators that are friends with me. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. People have different opinions on people. People have different perspectives on things, depending on where they grew up, depending on their culture, depending on their lifestyle, depending on just their likes and dislikes, and what they think is funny and what they think is annoying and what they think is this and that. I don't care. That's fine. You don't like me, that's fine. You don't like a friend of mine, that's fine. You don't like another creator, perfectly fine. My best advice would be just avoid them when you can. You need to block them or something, then block them. If you need to not see them or filter their words on your timeline, then filter their words. If you don't want to watch content that they're in, then don't show up to that stream or don't show up to that video, or don't show support for them. But I would please just ask you not to spread hate on my behalf to them, because I love them and I want to support them and I want them to, live their life and be happy. And no one deserves to be hated or feel hated, and no one deserves to have that, attention on them, that negative attention. And I feel like it's overwhelming. You may feel like you're just one person, but in reality, if there's a bunch of other people that are like you that are saying the same thing, it adds up. It adds up. And there's a lot of people that, I feel like I have very, very, very thick skin. There's been very rare occasions where something I've ever seen online has bothered me. And people would probably think that's surprising, but it's true. But I know a lot of people that don't. I know a lot of my friends that don't. I know a lot of creators that don't. and that can be really draining on someone's mental health. And you may think that it's okay for you to say this, just this one hate comment to a creator that's a friend of mine, but seeing my profile picture reply to them in some hateful way, it reflects bad on me, and it makes me feel bad when I see it. It makes me not like you. It makes me look at you differently. It makes me look at my fan base differently. It makes me see that, hey, is this hate good? Is this hate worth it for me to continue doing what I do? And I don't like it. I really don't like it. So I please ask you, please just refrain from spreading hate to people in general. And I don't care if they're not a friend of mine as well. But just in general, don't spread hate. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad. And just try and think about the person that you're spreading it to. Is they do have feelings. They do have emotions. They have a life outside of content creation, and you don't realize how big of an impact you might just have. Anyway, I think that's all that I probably have to say on everything. So yeah, I guess just for a brief summary rundown. Yeah, I'm obviously I'm sorry for anything that I've done in the past, especially when I was young and an idiot. I'm sure there's plenty of things that will come up in the future about me and about other people, and about just everybody in general, that you don't like. And I've never had a problem with people asking for clarification on things. I've never been like upset with fans for being upset about something involving me, no matter what it's been. And even maybe my gut reaction sometimes has been like, oh, why do they care about that? This is so long ago, and I'm clearly not this person and whatever. But then when you sit down and actually think about it, you go, yeah, but they don't know you. They're not your friend. Realistically, they're not your friend. They don't know you personally, and so they don't know that. They need that reassurance because they don't know. They don't know you as a person enough to know that you aren't just hiding your true self, or that you aren't just disguising the things that you don't want them to see or whatever. And so I think it's fair to ask for clarification. I think it's fair to be upset about things in general. I think that it's fair to bring up things that are from people's past. But I do think that when you do so, that you should do it with the benefit of the doubt, and you should do it especially if you support somebody, under the lens of, hey, they're probably going to explain this. Hey, they're probably not this person. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt to figure it out. But at the same time, I need them to say something, or I want them to say something, because of the fact that I want to know. And I just need to know that this person that I'm supporting isn't a bad person, because you don't want to throw your support behind somebody that's bad. You don't want to, you don't want to donate to somebody that's bad. You don't want to watch you don't want to support them. You don't want to do anything involving them if they are somebody that, let's say, is racist, or is transphobic, or is homophobic, or is sexist, or whatever. You don't want to support them if they're that person, because you're not that person, and you don't want people around you to be like that person. And that's understandable. So, makes sense. I guess I'm just expressing that so that people don't, I don't like seeing people like completely invalidate that and say that it's not something to want clarification on. So anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much for coming to the stream. I'm sorry for more of a serious stream. I hope it wasn't too, anxiety inducing for any of you guys. I always try and keep things, kind of lighthearted. I'll be streaming at some point in the next week, and then I'm also going to be streaming MCC, and I might be doing another stream as well. I might have another stream in between, but I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll see. But anyway, I do plan on streaming a little bit more. That'll be cool for the next couple weeks, and new uploads coming, lots of stuff. So yeah, just stay tuned, I guess. Love you guys. Thank you guys for being so supportive and understanding, and see you guys soon. Bye.